Hello and happy Friday afternoon. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox. Thanks for joining us today. All right, before I get started here, I'm going to go ahead and check my audio. I'm flying solo today, so it looks like my audio is good. You should be able to hear me out there. Let's go ahead and jump into that forecast today. All right, let's take a look at your weather headlines on this Friday afternoon. Now, the central portion of the country, most of us, after that very windy day yesterday, will be breezy today, a little bit cooler than what we saw yesterday. For the most part, we're going to stay dry, not a ton of rain. You go to the coast, that's where you find your rain. So we're bookended. On either side of us, the west and the east, with these coastal thunderstorms. One will have a flood concern, the other a high wind concern. So we'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. Alrighty, let's go to your next headline here. There you go. All right, so strong winds are still going to be a concern today. And for a lot of us, that's going to cause more of a problem than it did on Wednesday. So those areas that we're seeing strong winds are places like Colorado and Wyoming. You're going to have a fire concern coming from those strong winds as well. And as we head into your Christmas week, oh my goodness, we are less than a week away from Christmas. Can you believe that? You know what? I'm not even done with my Christmas shopping quite yet. Well, we have a very warm Christmas forecast. So it looks like temperatures will be well above average for this time of the year. We'll get into it. I want to talk about what happened yesterday. Yesterday, as you can see highlighted there in red out by St. Louis, just to the northwest of St. Louis, we had a tornado warning by about 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. The day started off pretty active, obviously with high wind, but also with those strong storms across the Missouri and Illinois state line. We got a break a little bit, but we did see wind be a very, very big concern throughout the entire day yesterday. Strong winds coming from thunderstorms across Illinois. You can see those highlighted there in blue, and we saw that continue into places like Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, and Mississippi through the late night hours. We did end up getting a watch in there, as well as several more tornado warnings and several very, very significant severe thunderstorm warnings as well for high wind. That was the biggest issue yesterday. It was really the wind risk from this very powerful low pressure system. Now that's moving off to the east. We're dealing with another low pressure system moving back in today. So you can see that we've got a pretty nice setup, as I mentioned earlier, where we've got high pressure across the middle of the country. Behind that cold front, pretty quiet conditions. However, on either side of us, at the west and out to the east, we've got those stronger storms or hazardous weather. We'll start out to the east, where we do have severe storms today. We are watching for a high wind risk, and not just the straight line winds, but the severe thunderstorm related winds out in the east coast today, dry across the southeast. More snow coming into places like North Dakota, very dry across the Rockies. That is a problem. We'll talk about that fire risk later on today. And we've got more rain coming to the west coast, another problem there with that flood risk ongoing. Now let's go ahead and take a look at your current temperatures. Well, we are actually recording this a little early today. We're recording it at 9 o'clock. So at 9 o'clock this morning, temperatures are pretty cold. Taking a look at snow, still on the ground. We should see a little bit of melting today, but better melting through the weekend. It will be pretty warm this weekend, so we'll see a lot better melting through this weekend and early next week. But I want to go into more of a serious note here. From talking about snow to now talking about the fire danger. I want to talk about that potential fire danger today. As you see all these areas highlighted here in pink and in gold, that's your red flag warning and your high wind warning, and then you've got your high wind watch highlighted in tan. This is something that we have to really keep in mind today as we have strong winds and very dry conditions return to the region. We've also got some strong wind from that low pressure system that moved through the Midwest yesterday. Now that's off on the East Coast, so we can see some high wind across this area as well. I want to go back and talk about Denver real quick, because I want to talk about the high wind warning in this area highlighted there in gold. Oh, I'm glad that you can see. Yeah, you can see my mouse. Okay, perfect. What we have here are strong west-south winds, about 35 to 50 miles an hour sustained. That means all day long you're going to be hearing that wind. But you could have gusts up to 100 miles an hour. Now that's stronger than this region got on Wednesday. Colorado, your strong winds on Wednesday were usually between about 70 to 80 miles an hour for wind gusts. You could get up to 100 mile per hour wind gusts today. So that's very, very strong. Reading what the National Weather Service is saying here, they're saying that high wind warning highlighted there in gold, it remains in effect until 8 o'clock this evening. Damaging winds may blow down trees and power lines, and power outages are possible. Travel will be difficult, especially for high-profile vehicles. We're talking like semis or trailers. Those are things that got blown over, just over and over and over on Wednesday and Thursday. Strong winds may lead to rapid fire growth and any new fire in the foothills. So we will move on now to that fire potential for today. Oh, your significant hail model. We have no hail today. Not expecting any hail today. Strong winds from severe thunderstorms are possible anywhere from Scranton, Pennsylvania, down to Philadelphia, Baltimore, Norfolk, all included in that severe risk. They're highlighted there in blue. Strong winds, we're talking 60, 65 miles an hour here. You could get up to 70 at times. I think that will be extremely isolated today. 60, 65 mile per hour wind speeds are most likely what we get from these thunderstorms. Very similar to yesterday, it'll be mainly a wind event today, not necessarily a hail event, and not necessarily a tornado event either. If we do get any hail from these storms today, I think it'll be very small, in between that marble and maybe up to penny-sized hail. We're saying penny is the maximum size hail stone today, but it's a very low risk for hail today. Taking a look at that future radar, you can see all of those storms out on the East Coast with snow to follow, so colder temperatures to follow behind those storms today. You've got snow across the northern portion of the U.S. I don't think snow accumulations will be anything terribly impressive here. I know that a lot of people are ready for a break, and other people are saying bring on the snow. This is normal for this time of year. I've seen both of those comments from you guys, which is very understandable. You go up to the north, you're going to see snow this time of the year. Taking a look at your future radar for those strong storms today, so we're talking about severe weather. Anywhere from New York all the way down to Atlantic City, we are going to be watching for those strong storms turning severe at times, anywhere between this morning all the way to the early afternoon hours. But then as we head into the later portion of the afternoon, we're going to see that switch over from rain to snow. I don't think accumulations are going to be widespread too impressive. However, every now and then you could see very localized amounts more impressive there. Now let's go back to fire weather. This is what I was talking about earlier, where I wanted to really make sure that the risks were understood about this fire weather concern today. We have a red flag warning until 6 o'clock this evening. So I'm going to go to the National Weather Service, and I want to read what they're saying about this red flag warning here. They're saying strong west winds sustained about 45 to 55 miles an hour with gusts upwards of 85 to 105 miles an hour. That's what we talked about earlier, those strong winds are possible in the foothills from Boulder and Jefferson counties beginning early Friday morning. We're going to talk about this as well. Relative humidity values are expected to drop into the low teens. Very, very critical there. Very dry air. And I can actually show that to you. Highlighted here in brown, these are your very, very low dew points, which means not a ton of moisture in the air. For some of us, that means that you probably have to drink a little bit more water today, put that lotion on your hands, your knuckles may be cracking. I'm definitely feeling it on my lips. I've got chapped lips right now. For others, this is a critical fire danger. Extremely dry air across this area with strong winds, the perfect conditions for fires to form and spread rapidly. Reading what the National Weather Service is saying here. While red flag conditions, critical fire weather are expected across a larger area in northern Colorado, the most extreme conditions are expected to be along Highway 93 from Jefferson County into Boulder County and along US 36 north of Boulder into Larimer County, and then to the west of that. There will be a high potential for fast-moving wildfires should any new starts occur. This could extend to the evening hours, not just the daytime hours. So this right here, red flag warning goes until 6 o'clock tonight. I actually think the timing may have changed on this. I think it goes from 5 a.m. this morning until midnight Mountain Standard Time tonight. And then we've got another red flag warning down in Texas for tonight as well. Meteorologist Michaela Smith has been very helpful on talking about this fire weather as well. She also has alerted me that Xcel Energy Power Company in Colorado is scheduled to shut off power for more than 69,000 customers today due to the threat for wildfires with strong winds in the hills. Residents have been warned in areas around Denver that they could be without power into the weekend. So this may not just be a today thing. And if you look at your future dew points here, you can see that dry air sticks around all day today. Tomorrow, I mean, it doesn't look like we're getting a break anytime soon. Let's take a look at those wind speeds now. Wind gusts obviously look pretty strong across a good portion of the plains today. We're talking about anywhere from North Dakota all the way down to the southern plains into Oklahoma and Texas. Now, it's not going to be as strong as what you saw in Wyoming. No, we're talking about wind gusts up to maybe 35, 40 miles an hour in places like Kansas and Oklahoma today. You're going to see those stronger wind gusts highlighted in that deep red color by places like Denver and the northern portion of Colorado, where again, we're watching for that fire weather concern right there. Strong winds today. Again, gusts up to 100 miles an hour are possible in this area today. Going to your fire weather that has been increased from that elevated risk to critical in some places, including Denver, Colorado, and Alliance, Nebraska, but Cheyenne, Wyoming, and just to the north of Denver, Boulder, Colorado, these areas just to the north of Denver are included in that level 3, that extreme category. So absolutely something to take serious today and tomorrow. Tomorrow we go down to Texas, where Lubbock, Texas is included in the critical, that level 2 risk. It looks like we're going to continue to watch for this fire risk as we head into the later portion of the weekend. Unfortunately, not a ton of rain or wet weather is expected across Oklahoma and Texas. I know that we need it. Across a good portion of these areas, we're not going to see rain for the rest of the year. Yeah, we may see our next chance for significant rainfall in 2026, which again is only about 10, what are we talking about here? 12 days away. So it's a long time to go without rain. We absolutely need it across the central portion of the U.S. Now you go out to the west, you've got almost too much rain, or I think they would be okay with me saying it has been too much rain at this point. Let's take a look at your 24-hour rainfall totals. You've got over 2 inches in some places, and you may think to yourself, 2 inches, that's not much rain, but if you get 2 inches every single day for the past 2 weeks, I mean, you've absolutely got a flood concern on your hands. So we do have a flood concern on our hands with that level 2 flood concern across Northern California today, and a level 1 flood concern just north of San Francisco, between San Francisco and Redding for tomorrow. You head into Sunday, that level 2 flood concern sticks around all the way through the end of the weekend and early next week. So there's your weather. There's your severe risk out on the East Coast, the flooding out on the West Coast. You go to the Rockies, you have a fire concern, a dangerous fire threat. Colder everywhere else behind that front that came through yesterday. Now, of course, put your weather, your comments and your questions in the comments section. We love to see those comments. We love to see those questions. Let's go ahead and go through your future radar as we head into the weekend. Who gets rain? Who gets snow? For the most part, it looks pretty dry for most of us this weekend. You could see some snow in the upper levels of the U.S., you know, across the Midwest, across North and South Dakota, across Minneapolis. Move to Saturday, Sunday, and here we are on Monday, Christmas week. All right, everyone wants to know, what are our temperatures this next week? What is it going to feel like as you head out the door? Get that last minute Christmas shopping done. Maybe spend some time with the family. Get off early for the Christmas holiday. Okay, temperatures today are, for the most part, in the 50s and 60s through the central portion of the U.S., much colder the farther north that you go, into single digits and the teens at times. All of that cold air is going to be trapped up here in the Midwest, okay? So we're going to see most of that cold air stay up to the north, and we've got nice, mild conditions down to the south, and most of us will stay above average for this time of the year. So warmer than average as we head into the middle of the work week next week. Look at these temperatures just a few days before Christmas, a day before Christmas Eve Eve, if you will. 68 degrees in Oklahoma City, 74 in Dallas, 69 in Shreveport, 71 in Corpus Christi. Holy moly, I mean, it's toasty out there for some of us. Just kidding. But we do have a high pressure system. You can see that ridge building in right here, and this is going to help to create that warmer air, pocket of warm air across the southern portion of the U.S. That's why temperatures are so warm as we head into Christmas Eve. Oh, look at this. Here we go on Wednesday. 75 on Christmas Eve. Santa's going to be sweating as he delivers presents on Christmas Eve. This is the trend that we're going to see probably through the end of the year. Temperatures will be well above average for this time of the year as we head into, obviously, Christmas, but probably into the new year as well. Take a look at those temperatures. December 24th through the 28th, we have a high likelihood to be above average. So temperatures warmer than normal across Oklahoma City, Dallas, Houston, really across most of the U.S. You see those red colors on the board here, these red regions. Basically what that means is that it's not going to be 90. No, it's going to be above average. So if your average is 60, and maybe your temperatures are in the mid 60s, upper 60s, low 70s. If your average is 20 degrees or northern states, then maybe your temperatures are in the 30s, maybe mid 30s, 40s. So not toasty, but definitely warmer than normal. What about the rain chances? Well, we have seen this trend just continue. Definitely wetter out to the west and drier across the central and the southern portion of the U.S. And there you go. There is your forecast. Thanks for joining us today. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox. Make sure that you follow us on all forms of social media. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. You can see that I'm obviously not in the studio today. I'm doing this live. Well, I'm doing this recorded, 9 a.m. From home, but it's running live, obviously, for you at noon. So make sure that you watch all of our noon forecasts. We love to interact with you live. Usually, this is live, and you guys can comment, and I can answer all of those weather questions that you have. As always, still put your weather questions in the chat. And during these warm temperatures, make sure that you are working storms that you may have missed back in the summer and in the springtime. We have all of those storms mapped for you at HailTrace.com. Head over to HailTrace.com for more information. Give us a call at 855-334-4245 for more information or to get set up with a subscription, or email us at info@HailTrace.com. All right, there's your forecast. Thanks for joining today. We'll see you back here, same time, same place on Monday. Have a great weekend.